Good morning, good day, everyone. This is Tracy Brown, your somatic nutrition therapist and a tune eating expert. And we are working in the middle of our segment around the cost of freedom from diet culture, and honestly, what it's going to take to get free. And there are many, many paths to do that. Of course, not everybody has to do what I did, maybe what my clients do. Again, there's all kinds of ways to do things. What I will say is that it can feel like a really lonely road. And we talked about that a little bit Monday, but today I want to be really specific about choosing people carefully. And what I will say as a disclaimer is that it sometimes can take a while to find like one people or a group of people that not only can really hear you and understand this, but also are doing their own work at the same time, to where you're not having like dueling eating disorders. People are working on their issues around codependency and emotional regulation. So there's one thing like, I'm going to stop dieting, but then another to try to get people to collude with them when they're not doing so well. So we're talking a little bit today about, picking your people wisely. Basically, who are my people? Who do I hang with? And it's really easy sometimes when things feel hard to feel like nobody else in this whole wide world is doing what I'm doing or thinks how I think, and that's totally not true. For example, we're all here on social media finding each other. I think the issue is sometimes is that we don't really know exactly what we're looking for, so we stumble around a little while. So here are some tips to get really clear about spaces you're in. So, I run and own the intuitive eating support group. I also have my peaceful eating community. And in those communities, the free group, the intuitive eating support group, I really don't have any things that I don't let people in for, except for that they understand that there's a book called Intuitive Eating. There's some resources that you can go read and learn more about it. But the qualifications are you cannot be actively talking about diets. You just can't do that. Even if you feel like keto helped you, it's got no space there because there's 1,000 other websites and groups to talk about keto. We're not doing that there. If you are a person who is worried about your health, pretty much a vital support is that you need to get professional help, because it's not because you're broken, it's because your body has different needs at the same time. So you have a recovery need, you might have a metabolic need, and you're most likely to not accidentally do damage if you just get some support right off the bat. All right, so that's one of the reasons why I have my peaceful eating community, because it's a lower cost, kind of small, intimate group. I don't ever expect to have 7,000 people in it like the intuitive eating support group, which is basically free. Well, it is free, it's complimentary, but people put a lot of emotional work into it. So I think that when you're a part, so this is another thing I want to say, is when you're a part of these groups, it's really important to recognize a couple of things. Everybody's at a different pace. Everybody has a different level of education into this work. And some people have gotten, honestly, some nutrition therapy and some counseling. So there's a lot more unpacking has already been done for that person and you're able to see where maybe other people are stuck who don't think they are, or languaging things in a way that is that really is more open and curious and compassionate versus sometimes using language is harmful to themselves and others. So that's something you have to be aware of when you're in online groups that are complimentary, is that like there's a lot of different kinds of folks going there. That's not a bad thing, but you're going to find is the more you seek out people who have more experience and expertise, the faster you're going to get to where you want to go. I mean, again, you can only push as far as the slowest part you can go. There's lots of belief systems and trauma to unpack and all that kind of stuff, and our pragmatic day-to-day, like how to get our food needs met. All of those embodiment stuff, that all has to happen at the same time for you to feel like, okay, great, I can eat more normally, but inside my head I still don't like my body, and that never got better. If you're experiencing that, we have to search out what's missing. That's probably an embodiment trauma piece, let's say, for example. If you're not seeing that out there, in the care that you've already gotten, please message me and I'll talk to you about how to, find that right resource. And then point number 2, real quick, is that it's really, really tempting to want to go to people that are close in your sphere that maybe you have a complicated relationship with. So let's say that, you want to be connected with your coworkers, different relatives, and you have made this decision to go on this path. Yet they're not even there. They don't even know this path exists. And it's really tempting to, when you're having a bad body image day or you feel guilty about your food and you haven't quite gotten to the place of more neutrality about that, to ask for reassurance from those folks. And I really want to let you know that's probably a mistake. And I know that we want connection, that we're wired for connection. That's really normal to want to get that, but you can't get it from people who are still really mired in that. And I think that I just want to give you a reassurance. If you tried that and you haven't gotten good results, that's not necessarily your fault. It's just that there's no space for that, for what you're struggling with in them. That doesn't make you bad. It just means you need to go somewhere else. And that's why, like I said, individual support is super important to be able to kind of grow your autonomy. And if there's any little pieces of codependence in there, of need for reassurance from people that your food's okay, your body's okay, that's not something you want to go to people with who are still in diet culture. They're just going to tell you, like, well, just eat differently and lose weight. And then you're going to feel crushed again. Don't go to those places. It's really important that you get clear about what your needs are, so you can slow down to get clarity about what you actually need and seek them out, the right resources out. So these are some of the cost of freedom, is that you can't just give everybody all of your concerns, and you can't give every space can't provide you what you need. And so there's going to be a little bit more digging, a little bit more discernment, a lot more discernment, because even if you work with professionals, which I think that pretty much everybody I've seen who's ever fully recovered was in a relationship with some kind of person who knew what they were doing. But what I can say is it's just really important. It takes more time. So don't give up. Just don't give up. And know that you're worth finding the spaces, free, lower cost, standard cost, whatever, of support you might need to get the right care, to get on with things, And so that is part of the cost of freedom. It's worth every second of digging and looking and researching and, financial, whatever, to not feel like this, to flail and to feel like this doesn't take you all the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be that way. So, but that is part of the cost. Everybody else can just oh yeah, I can get on the newest diet program and everything's great for me. And that's not going to work for you. So it's not because you're wrong, but you've made a decision, to come out of the programming, and there's cost to that. But again, like I said, it's worth every penny and every second. So thank you so much for watching. On Friday's video, we're going to talk about, when people make inappropriate comments, what are we going to do about it in this journey? Because it's going to happen. That's a guarantee. My hope and my goal and job here is to help you learn how to navigate what that does and doesn't mean about you. Because most people take it really personally. It can feel really personal, and it's at you. But this is just a little teaser, but it's really about them. So, all right, I'll talk to you all Friday. Have a great day. Bye for now.